Howdy guys, it's Joe here today talking about the 5 ways that I see people, the majority, climb the ranked ladder. And before we get started, I want to have you guys tell me in the comment section down below what way you guys use to climb the ladder, and if you use any of these ways that I'm going to be talking about today. As well, if you've been stuck at a certain rank, maybe you could try one of these other ways to climb the ladder. That could probably help you out. And if you've been climbing a lot right now, tell people about what you've been doing and how you've been doing it. Let's just all try to help each other out. Anyways, with that said, let's just get started. To begin, we have people that focus on mechanics. And mainly I'm going to say focus on aiming or just on doing combos or anything like that. And I guess also on stuff like Lucio wall riding. The players that know how to shoot, where to shoot, and how to get those kills. The people that can play the game without a crosshair and have a lot of effort and a lot of time put into their characters. I'd say mainly this does kind of focus on DPS with people like Hanzo, McCree, Widowmaker, but can also fit onto some other characters such as Lucio. I feel like he's a pretty good mechanical player as well. These guys just try to focus on themselves, focus on improving their aim, and focus on improving their quality of work. And that's really about it. Just making sure that they can know exactly how to play and know how to get the right inputs in. And after a certain amount of time, you're probably going to be able to carry yourself a little bit with this way. Secondly, I see some shot callers. Not as much as I would like, but I'm going to a lot of my solo queue games, and for example at a Winston last week, that was calling out exactly when he would be going in. He'd say, okay guys, when I call it out in chat, we're all going to go in. Wait a few seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And everyone jumped in. Everybody knew when to do it, and we got some pretty good engages because this guy knew when to engage. Shot callers generally focus on their game knowledge, knowing when to be where, what to do there, and how to do it with your teammates. Really just kind of knowing how your team comp works and everything in between with that. Now, of course, I'd say mainly, I guess, supports and tanks do focus on this. You can definitely shot call if you're somebody that's like a Sombra that's scouting out ahead, but those are the ones that usually get the most attention and that people will listen to the most, especially someone like a Reinhardt or a Winston. Next off, we got ourselves some filler people. People that will just fill into any role in the game and the majority of the characters in the game. Now, of course, to say the majority of players do fill into like 2 or 3 different characters, you know, that they're pretty good as, but fillers, I'd say in general, will fill into the majority of characters, like at least 10 or 12 of these guys. Know how to play a lot of different people and know how to play people that will actually fit the situation. They'll switch if they're told to, and they're really just the players that fit your team comp and kind of buffer your team comp. It's really nice to have one of these guys on your team, and as well, they can almost always switch to something that is countering the enemy's team comp, which can, in some cases, make up for the lack of extra skill that you kind of lose from not one-tricking people. Of course, it's a little bit harder to climb as fillers, I'd say. It takes a little bit more effort and a lot more time because you aren't going to become as godlike with one character as quickly, but you're going to gain a lot more game knowledge and become a lot more good overall at the game, I'd say. Again, though, it does take a little bit more time, but as well, you will really be helping your team and making your team like you a lot more than the next people to come. And the next people are one tricks, the things that everyone likes to talk about right now, including myself. I love talking about one tricks. One tricks are people that will play only one character, and a true one trick will only play that one character and never switch. Now, of course, sometimes one tricks do switch to 2 or 3 other characters, but they do mainly have one focus on one person they like to play. The most popular one being Mercy right now, but as well we have a lot of Hanzo one tricks, we have a lot of Soldier one tricks, we have a lot of Winston one tricks, we have a lot of everybody being one tricked. And of course, we all know the benefits of this. You climb the ladder faster, you have better stats boosting your SR, and of course, you just become much better at your character much faster than anyone else. Now, there is the problem where if someone does pick up your one trick in your game, or your 2 one tricks of the same character, you're pretty much screwed. And also the fact that you won't really know how to play any other characters, and if the entire enemy team comp counters you, you've pretty much automatically lost the game. But in any other situation than that, it does work pretty well. As well, a lot of your teammates will hate you. You know, you're not going to be way too likable, and since you're not switching, you're not going to be able to communicate way too well. If you're winning, you know, that's fine. Everyone will probably like you, but if you're losing, turn off that voice chat, play the best you can, and hope you don't tilt. And finally, we have duo queue boosters. One player that got to grandmaster the previous season tagged along with another player that is middle to low platinum. And I see a ton of these. Now, I know that this shouldn't even be really allowed. I know that they're trying to stop this and trying to make so that there's less boosters as possible. And if you boost, you know, that's up to you. You could do whatever. I know a lot of people hate the people that are boosting, but, you know, it does happen. But overall, these people gain rank by having one worse player queue up with a greater player. That essentially carries them up through the rankings. Usually the worst player playing support or pretty easy support, or support that just doesn't take way too much effort, or maybe just a tank like Winston, where they play at least at an okay level, where they essentially just jump in when the better player tells them to, and then the better player, usually as a DPS, just carries them through the game. course, I don't personally condone doing this, but it does happen very often, and I see a lot of people climbing the ranks as this. One big problem is you either have to pay someone to do this for you, or have a very good friend that is very kind enough to play a ton of games with you for free. So, you know, if you have any of those situations, I guess, go for it. Make your dreams come true. But otherwise, I'd say, maybe pick a different, more ethical way to climb up the ladder. And those are some of the ways that I feel like are different ways that you can climb up the ladder over time. Some of them are a little bit faster, some of them are a little bit slower, but everybody seems to kind of fit into one of these main groups. But if you feel like I missed a main group, make sure to tell me down in the comment section down below. As well, again, tell me if you fit in any of these and why you're doing what you're doing. I really like to hear the reasoning. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you want to see any more in the future. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.